Put it just someone who wants it. That's everything else.
Oh, yeah, this is it.
Yeah, it's a school. You know what it is? It's actually the director of the library employee.
Probably at the point of video recording now. Okay. First, I would like to welcome everyone to Rutgers Camden. Thank you all for making the trip and coming to Camden and experiencing everything that we are here. Philadelphia is. I hope that the conference is going well for everyone. And if you have any problems or concerns, please feel free to bring them up with me, and I'll do my best to resolve them for you. Today's topic that I'm talking about is video annotation. Years ago, we came out with something we called CAMS, which was completely automated media solution. The reason why we did it, the reason why we started years ago, was because we were taping a lot of classes, right? And I heard people earlier joking about taping, saying we were taping classes because people were missing, for whatever reason. They were sick, they had a marriage, they had a death, et cetera, et cetera. And so we got this really cool idea. We did this thing with video recording, and I've talked about it before, and a lot of you are doing it now. It's not something that's terribly innovative anymore in the space, but not everyone's doing it. A lot of people are doing it. And so we've kind of grown with it. One of the things that we did was, I say a lot apparently, we changed, I was talking about CAMS before, I was thinking, oh, it would be really cool if we could do annotation. And I played with some other products for a while, and I could get media notes to load our streaming files into it, but I couldn't get it to annotate and jump correctly. So, I mean, I could say in media notes, hey, we're going to tag here, and we could do the tag. It looked like it worked, but it really didn't work. And it didn't provide an easy way to give that information back to the students. You still had to, have a bunch of data files and everything else, but it was a start. And then last year when I was at CALI, I was talking, and it hit me how I could do video annotation. And so we've since rolled out our own annotation software. So what we're going to talk about a little bit is I'm going to show you a couple different annotation products. There's a lot that is out there on the market. It is an ever-expanding space. There's all new products that have become, it seems to me, there's a new open source company popping up every day with how to do all these wonderful things, and they'll also sell you services, and I'm also afraid that 90% of them will go out of business within a few years. Anyway, our product doesn't really suffer from that. It's very simple. The first one I want to show you was videoing. It's one of the first ones I looked at. I thought, this is pretty cool. Any of you familiar with videoing? Ever heard of it? It's a neat product. You can, it takes YouTube videos now, and every once in a while it breaks when YouTube changes something, but they're pretty quick, they fix it. You can do annotations, so you can do streaming media. You just have to get it onto YouTube somehow, so there has to be some step to do that. But you can do your annotations. This is pretty neat, but your annotations then live on their server. Everything you type, so if you're doing clinic interviews, anything confidential, it's all being stored on their system. Probably not what you really want, right, long term. What you really want is a hosted solution or something, somebody's going to sign a contract for you, right? They're going to make sure that those confidential video linked files, right? I mean, do you really want to post a clinic interview with a client on YouTube? There are some issues there. Media notes, very neat product. We liked it. Why? Because we could get it for free for our faculty and staff. And students had to pay $20. Okay, that wasn't too bad. In fact, when we first rolled out a recording solution, for those of you that took the tour I gave this afternoon, in our clinic, our first primary goal was going to be that, hey, we'll do these recordings, and then people will be able to do these types of things with those recordings. Well, the video was proprietary, you had to have a special codec, it only worked on Windows, over 50% of our students have Macs, There was no export function. You had to do it in real time. So there was no way that we could use that for the product. And then there was also the problem of how do we get these, they might do a 55-minute, 120-minute interview. How do we get that file, that video file, to the professor who's at home to do the work, of the annotation? You don't, right? I mean, there's just no way. So if you have a student who's doing an interview of a client on Saturday afternoon, that's not being looked at by the supervising attorney probably until Monday, right? Tuesday, whenever they come in and have access to that file. I mean, you could do remote desktop services, maybe that might work, probably wouldn't work, wouldn't be very good. I thought this was funny just because of the guy. This is a product I just found online, because there's lots of products online, right? Again, just illustrating how there is just a lot of product out there. Some of them are very fancy. You can do annotations directly in YouTube now. You don't need to use video, right? You can do it in YouTube. There's open that's like called Kalthera. You hear of that? It's like an open source video product. And it's like, oh, I love the people that, like, there's some group in my central IT that is working with them. They're an open source product, but they're working with their contractor. I'm thinking, okay, then you're paying money. You're still paying money. It's free, but you're paying money for someone else to tell you how to use the free product. Again, just illustrating different things that are out there. This is ours. It's very simple. There's not a whole lot to it. Our first rollout was we had an ICN, right? A professor who had graded simulations of her students that we were scheduling in different locations. And she would watch those things and she would add these different talking points to the video. The first semester she used this, she did over 400 different entries onto videos. She loved it. So that was great. She could do all this type of stuff. This was neat, right? This got us thinking, well, what can we do better here? The problem with this was we had to schedule. Our classrooms are in our room reservation system to record them. But we had to go in and say, okay, from 1 to 4 o'clock, we're going to record that room for 3 hours. And then she told the students, okay, you guys, you do it this block, you do it this block, you do it this block. And so they would all get recorded and they'd all be in there. That worked pretty well, right? Yes. We told the students, we said, okay, you have to go there at 1:30. You have to go there at 2 o'clock. We didn't really leave it to be impromptu, right? Students couldn't do it when they wanted to do it. They had to do it when they were told that they could do it. They might be able to pick from 6 or 7 blocks, but it didn't work out as well. So we moved to something a little different. Again, those who took the tour this afternoon saw it, and I have some pictures that I took this afternoon after the tour. This is our group study room. For those of you who asked on the tour what it looked like from the shot, you can see it right there. This is 501. This is the annotation system view. For those of you that have been following, I've been posting all of the videos to Technoids of today's thing. You can annotate any one of them to try it out. We're going to actually do that in a little bit. You can see this. Well, how is this different? Right? This is a different room. How is it different? Bear with me on the quality of the shots here. So, upstairs, 401 and 501, they're identical rooms stacked on top of each other. We have a screen. No surprise there, right? We have lots of screens. We like screens. This screen is our standard display format. What happens is students can go online whenever they want, and they can reserve a room, one of these rooms. They can just say, oh, I want this room. The system will automatically approve the room for them based on how many reservations they've made in a 10-day period. I can show you actually how it works if you, maybe that'll help you. Let's do that. Let's go over here. And here we go. So this is the system. So the rules are that they can only have 2 hours a day. They can only be made 5 days out from the current day. They can only have 4 reservations over a sliding 10-day window. They can only have a total of 8 hours in the sliding 10-day window. And reservations outside of these listed blocks are not allowed. Why do we do that? Because we have 2 rooms right now. We just got the camera today for the 3rd room, and we have 800 students. You know, we had people who would go in there during exam time and think it was their private space for the entire exam time. They had a private study room the whole exam period, and they would bring in like blankets, and they would put blankets up over the glass, and they'd paste signs all over the walls. Exam in progress, do not disturb. I'd go up there, knock on the door. Somebody else has this reason, because students, it became like this turf war amongst the students. So we try to encourage them, hey, be a little nice, share our limited resources. So anyway, they click on the link, they reserve the room. The system checks all those rules automatically within a few minutes, sends them an email and says, yes, you have the room, no you don't, and you don't have it because you broke this rule. Then students will write back to that email. Like the rule will say, sorry, you tried to reserve for 4 hours. You're only allowed to reserve for 2. They'll hit reply and say, I don't understand what's wrong. I just put 4 hours. Please read the rules, and if you have problems further, contact us. So the student does that. They reserve the room, and I'm getting back to my slideshow. This display will show their name, reserved for John Doe. They walk into the room. When they walk into the room, there's a button and a camera. There's the button. They press that button, it lights up, the camera starts recording. When they're done, then they press the button, the camera stops recording. Within a few minutes, they get the email that all of you see I've been forwarding to technicals. There you go. They've got their own recording. They take that, they forward it to their professor, and instant work is happening. So what's neat though is I like the way we did this. This is a 3-volt LED toggle switch found at $1.97. That is connected to the camera. Access to 11A, about $600. The camera gets power over PoE. 1 cable going into the room, right? Cat 5, bringing PoE to the camera. Camera has an input relay on the back. Wired up to that is that switch. It senses the relay. We're monitoring for that relay on the server. As soon as we see that relay, we start capturing. When we see the relay tripped again, we stop capturing. And then we wire it up so that when you toggle it, it lights up or does not. So it's a very, I think efficient solution. It didn't cost us very much. It gave us pretty neat functionality. In the clinic, I talked about this earlier on the tour. The original design is part of our building project, the Telco DVR box. Like I said earlier, proprietary video encoding, Windows Media wrapped file. You had to have a special codec on your Windows box to play it. It was causing lots of grief for everybody in the clinic. It's kind of funny, there was someone from the clinic there when I was talking, and they were talking about how horrible the old solution was. It's good press for us. But we ripped that out. We integrated the camera. We had to replace the camera because it was a piece of junk. We put a new camera in. And we integrated into the push button that they had put into the telco. What we did was, we have an old Optiplex GX150 with 3 Alpod or whatever it is video capture cards. And we null modemed out to each of the push buttons serial control ports, so that when you push this button, same thing, we see it on the GX150, we start recording. You push the button again, we stop.
Do you have complete access to what's inside your walls, and you can drill holes and pull cable and do...
Yeah. Did you notice that? Yeah. No, we pull cable, we do whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
So...
that doesn't exist in the real world.
Well, not in every room. In those rooms, like this cable in this room, this was pulled by the contractor, the union contractor, as part of installing the building. All we did was at the box, remove the one machine, plug in our machine, and hook up to the existing cable. The clinic, we did nothing. In the group study rooms, the single cable coming into the room to power the camera was pulled by union contractors. All we did was fish one wire up the wall. The plate that's on the wall, which, by the way, is crooked, I don't know if you noticed, if you can tell or not. It's not that it's crooked, it's the button is crooked. This top, this was fabricated by our union facilities. So they were involved in the process. We wanted stainless steel. We're still waiting. We have plastic. Maybe we'll get stainless steel. Maybe next time you're back at CALI, here, we'll have stainless steel. But yeah, so it is not that we're these rogue installers going around and doing things. But we've been here a long time, especially myself. So I know everyone on the facilities department, and we're a small campus. We're friends with everybody. So it's not like, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. So it's worked out well, that relationship. Okay, so back to the clinic. So we pulled that out, we put in the serial cards, and we just, like I said, we run a null modem, and we just echo out, hello, not really, but hello, and when the switch is depressed, we get hello back. When the switch is not depressed, there's nobody there. And so we just do that to see whether or not we should start recording or not. So let's do some demonstrations. So here is, right here, this is the role of the law librarian in the sorry, we have some minutes. This has to do with an old way of doing the thing. Wow, it looks much brighter on the screen over here. But anyway, so if I wanted to add something in here, you know, it says add a tag or press space to do this. You could say awkward, or I typed real fast before. Awkward, now I can't spell it. Awkward silence. Okay, so there you go. There's not a whole lot to it. We thought about having logins, not having logins. It hasn't really been a problem, so we haven't done that. So you can see, if I want to go back to awkward silence, I can just click, and I'm right back to awkward silence. Just jumps right back and forth. All this is JavaScript. In fact, any of you just look at the source code for the URLs that you're getting, you can have the same thing in 5 minutes. And here's the really cool part. We use QuickTime because that's what we use, but you can JavaScript control Media Player, Flash, anything. There's no reason why this couldn't be a Flash app and work the same way. In fact, the commands are pretty much the same. I mean, you're saying like document window play, document window stop. So it's not really a whole lot to it. So you can watch it, and you can come around. Now you can see people are very quiet. And for those of you that this is one of three, you know why I know it's one of three? Hear that hum? The HVAC plant. When you're presenting in that room, you don't notice it so much, but the camera notices it probably louder. We have one professor, she complains every time she gets to a professor because she can feel and hear the HVAC plant. So, really, there's not a whole lot to it. It's a very simple system. It's kind of self-explanatory, really.
One of them is very often
in the rooms?
Yeah, like this.
Right. Well, what we do is in the clinic, we decided that because of the way there's no sort of targeted feedback like in the study rooms. In the clinic, what the system does is it records in 2-hour blocks. So once you turn the system on, it records for 2 hours, stops and starts, stops and starts. The idea being that we wouldn't, if we were recording all weekend long, we would fill up our disk space. We get notices that way, but the system would never tell us it was recording until it was done. So the idea being that if they left it on, we would see that. And I do want to come back to that, because that's actually, if you look here, when done recording, do not forget, press red button to discontinue recording. So, you know, it's something that they thought about. In the group study rooms, well, preaching to the choir. When in the group study rooms, the system only records if there's a named reservation. So if you go in and you have a 2-hour block from 8 to 10, and you turn the system on at 9:40, you're only going to get 20 minutes to record. as soon as your reservation is over, the system will stop recording. The button will stay on and lit. If somebody else makes a reservation, it'll start recording again, but it'll go to that person, and that person will only get the time that they were in the room, not any prior. Like, I mean, they could come to the room at 10:10. Someone could have been in there 10 minutes before they were doing something. They would see that. If their next block was 10 to 12, but it doesn't record unless there's a named reservation in the system.
Any tampering problems with the installation?
Yes. This is really small, but it says, please do not unplug or Vol IT will castrate you. Oh wait, no, it doesn't say that. It says, please do not unplug, blah, blah, something about us. I don't remember what it says. It doesn't say that. This is actually a funny story. When we first started doing video recording in all of the classrooms, we had a professor teaching civil disobedience. Miraculously, for some reason, at the start of his class, our camera would become unplugged. Shocking. And what was really upsetting was that his class was over at like 4:50, and at 5 o'clock, there was somebody in that room who wanted their class recorded. So we had to like go there every day at like 4:50 and walk in and plug it back in. We're like, you gotta stop unplugging the camera. We're not recording. Really, we're not. And it's causing us, oh, I don't know who's doing that. You're the professor. Take control. We know when it was unplugged. Now that professor is one of the biggest users of our system. So they come around. They're not. It takes a little bit of time. The annotation, it's funny, and I suspect that other people that are doing it are having the same issues. We have one person who loves it, other people who tell us they're going to use it, and everybody else.
Tom, I noticed that when the annotation is just in the browser, right?
Yes.
Then the JavaScript made it. But after you've done the annotation, do you save the whole file somewhere, or?
Right. Well, there's two things, right? One is that the annotation itself is just we have a database that we store information about recordings, and so when you pull up the annotation page, it builds the page like the title, links to the URL for the video from the streaming server, and then has the annotation frame. The annotation frame uses Ajax and some other stuff to just store the annotation that's linked with like all authorization information back to a different table in our database. So we have the table in the database that has that data, and then we have our Darwin streaming server, which actually stores the videos, and they're kind of linked together from that. And then, so we had one professor who wanted this feature, which is the ability to just see the tags, so that they could print out all the tags.
Okay, so there's a submit function there, right?
Well, yeah. If we go back to the video, when you hit T or click add tag, there's a submit or cancel.
Oh, okay.
And then we were like debating, like, should we have enter do it or alt enter or something to have that automatically submit to make it like where you could really just be typing real fast. And then we found it's okay. Like she put 400 in this way.
How does the link send to the students then? Automatic generated to the students?
Right. Well,
because next
in
time
this particular case,
yeah,
the classroom like this, the link would go to the professor. The professor could email that link to the students.
Oh, okay.
In the case of the group study rooms, the student gets that link. They have the URLs they need already to view annotations. They would forward that to their professor or to their fellow classmates, because we have actually one student was really funny that did a recording of like we announced it. To tell the students saying, hey, we got this new system, when you do this, you can record, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was like within a day or two, we had students recording group study sessions that were going in there. And you would catch them, they'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm just trying this out, this is pretty cool, And then they would record it so they could, if they were reviewing torts or whatever, they could go back and watch their video if they wanted to. I think it's one of the things that is a pretty interesting number is you ask how many people actually watch videos. How do you track how many people watch videos? And I'll be honest, we weren't doing it. We have all the logs, we have all the statistics. We just never look at it because there was just not a point. We took surveys from students and said, hey, do you use this? And what we found, no surprise, who do you think loves video recording the best, right? It was evening students. They would write and say, at 10:30 at night, I'm tired. This is great. And they loved it. And we had great feedback. Well, we looked fall semester. How many people were watching videos? And what we found was during the reading period, like in December really all in general, we had hundreds of people a day. Unique people a day watching videos through the system. I said, all right, it's popular. People are using it. Students love it. we didn't do video podcasts because we thought that, do you really want to watch this video? I mean, it's pretty small already. Imagine around like an iPod. It's big. And plus space. I don't think we'll probably move away from that. What we found is a lot of people are doing audio podcasts. John?
We thought of doing picture-in-picture with like a feed from the PC.
Well, the problem with that, yes, I thought about that a lot.
I knew you did.
As you can see, and any of you that look at the videos online, the old building, right, the old rooms with the access cameras have a better picture quality than the new rooms. And a lot of it has to do with how many conversions. If I told you the conversion path that the camera takes, you'd be like, holy, I'm shocked it even works. What we wanted to do, our first goal of the system was to keep it cheap, right? And so...
Actually, could you tell us the conversion path? I'm fascinated by that.
We'll get to that in a second.
All right.
Let me answer the first question first. So, in this particular setup, we found that you can actually see the slide. Okay. We wanted to do video capture in a machine. We think we found a way to do it now. Originally, we were thinking, okay, we have to get some way to encode the stream. Well, ideally, what I want is not a PC encode. What I want is a way to encode what the projector sees. Why do I want that? I want that because I really don't want to record the PC for the whole session. I don't want to do that. Why? What if they're typing in their password and they accidentally type it and it shows up on the slide? What if they do, we can imagine. What I want is what the projector sees. I want to be able to say, hey, if the projector is blanked, this is blank. If the projector is showing a DVD, I want to record that DVD. Then, okay, there's a lot of issues there. So what we've been looking at is, there's actually some projectors that actually have outputs, I've seen. And so what we've been thinking about doing is buying like either standalone hardware encoder from Axis and putting them in each of the rooms and encoding at the projector whatever's being fed to the projector. Now there's some issues with that. Some designs are single feed to the projector and are scaled all at your equipment room. If you look up here, you'll see that we've got BNC coming in and we've got video. So if I wanted to encode there, not only would I need to have a multiple unit encoder, I'd have to have something that handled BNC, I'd have to have something that handled S-video and everything else. So ideally, what I want is a single feed going to the projector that's scaled someplace else, right? All the signals are combined and scaled and sent in the same thing. And then I want a hardware encoder at the projector that captures whatever the projector sees. And ideally, it's going to have to be like analog. So it's going to have to be VGA because otherwise you're going to have HDCP issues and everything.
So why don't you just put a splitter box before the projector?
Well, I could certainly do that. I could do it. I mean, when I say at the projector, I don't mean necessarily physically located at the projector. I mean at the projector in terms of
at the feed to the projector.
At the feed to the projector.
You come on the PC, hit the splitter box, one to the encoder, one to the projector. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, no, that still wouldn't work. Not out of the PC. And the reason being because then I would still capture what the PC sees. What I want is what is sent to the projector. So if you blank the projector image, I want that blank. If you show different sources, I want that. To me is the kick-ass solution.
Yeah.
Everything else is just a tool. Okay. Sorry, my kids love that movie. I saw it last night. So wait, I'm not finished. Give me a second here. Give me a second. So what we were thinking is we could virtualize the OS on top of the machine and keep a virtualized instance underneath that to do our recording and actually have like a software capturing. What we're probably going to end up doing is a little different. I talked about it before. The new high-def cameras from Axis support multiple streams configured in the camera. So you can define different points in the camera, different streams, what they call virtual PTZ. The idea being that we would have multiple views captured from the camera of the room. There'd be no connection to the PC. It wouldn't be necessary. We'd have this camera in the back, just like we have now. Except that camera would have 3 views, 4 views, 5 views. I think Axis is currently limited to 2. I think one model that's coming, or one model that's out, has 4 views. One view we would configure to be the screen. One view would be the whole front of the audience. One view would be here.
The camera lets you XY address its views.
It's different.
Awesome.
So, guess what? That just solves all of my problems.
Yeah.
Right there. Using some clever JavaScript, we'll have buttons down here. angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, angle 4. When a student is watching the video, they'll be able to click the buttons and get the different views and see everything. And we've just won everybody else.
So that means one recording will have 5 different files
They could have 5 different boxes
with the same timestamp.
with the same timestamp.
How large is that file space?
Well, that's why we just ordered expandable 18 terabyte to start of array. Yes, and in my office arrived today was my multi-stream Axis high def camera, which means I'll tell you all right now. Guess what you're going to see next year at CALI? Anyone take a guess? I just told you what it was. Okay, I ruined it. I ruined the surprise. If I had gotten it a couple weeks ago, you'd see it today, but I didn't get it till today.
Follow up on that. How long do you keep the files?
Well, the answer to that question is because we didn't have our 18 terabyte array, we only had a few multi-terabyte array. Classroom recordings are kept per semester, flushed quickly thereafter. Special speakers, interviews, etc. indefinite.
One last question. How do you know the faculty who don't want video but just want to have audio?
I can show you. Here, you want to see? This is what we do. So they come in here and they say, manage your course web page. And they pick a course. Let's see, who's got summer? Moss. He's already scheduled. Here, critical legal analysis. Audio, video. Here's all the courses. See these options over here you can do. So if you come over here, record on audio only. Yes. Faculty member sets it all up. Can set it all up. Most of our faculty, what do you think? 60% of our faculty do it themselves? 50?
Oh, yeah, maybe 7.
7% of our faculty do their own recordings. So we don't do anything. I mean, well, we built this. They go in and click, 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 and do the recordings. So they have both options. They can do it either way they want. They don't see keep recording forever. That's us. We see that. But they can pick the other ones that they want to do. So.
It's a softball. So, how much did that cost?
Well, well, it depends. And the reason why it depends is because there's a lot to it, right? I mean, I told you already that the Access to 11As, which we use in our group study rooms, are about $600. The rest of the hardware is pennies on top of that.
How much is the high def now?
High def cam we just got today, I think, was about $1,500.
That's the one with multi-stream?
Multi-stream. Interesting point in case is that these cameras right here, these Access T30, I'll get you in a second. When we bought these 6 or 7 years ago, they were about $1,250. So.
Is that the 755 that you got?
No, P1346 maybe.
And that's a new.
It's a new camera. It's actually it's heavy, really heavy. It's like a solid case around it. And it's cool because it also has the input relay, so we can do push button control of it if we wanted to. We could do. Somebody was asking me just before about doing like a notification. Greg was about like whether we were recording or not, which was I thought was good. He actually had a pretty neat idea, which was putting something in the back of the room and display that had a clock that was actually accurate, and whether or not we were recording or not. And I told him that we never really thought about that because in the very beginning when we were doing this, we used to have a light on the camera when we were recording. And you know what faculty told us? I don't want that light. It distracts me. So the light went off. So we don't have any way. And it's funny because some of these videos, especially when we were doing those like 3-hour long, you were time slotted here, and there, it was always great to watch them. And you see the student maybe sitting down there and you look up, do you think it's recording yet? I don't know if it's recording yet. I don't see a light up there. I don't know what it's doing. Well, the professor said it just starts recording. Okay, well, maybe we should check. Okay, hello, are you recording us? Okay, they say they're recording us. So it has its good things and its bad things. You can't please everybody. And so that's why in the group study rooms we have the lit button that you can do it. And in the classrooms we don't want a button in the classroom. Because if we had a button in the classroom, faculty would forget to push it. They'd forget to turn it on or off, or something would happen if it go wrong. So, anyway.
Of course, when you do a classroom recording, you have to have the projector on, or can you write on a whiteboard, and a whiteboard will be captured.
Yeah, again, it depends on the quality of the room, like the recording. In the East rooms, we're just not happy with the quality of the video from those. If you look at the videos we posted at Technically, you can see. And now I will explain the pathway. In those rooms, cameras are S-video in the back of the room. They are fed from there over extended S-video cable to the equipment rack in the front of the room, where they are then put into the matrix. One output of the matrix, multiple input out, AV matrix system. We then take that S-video, it gets put onto, it's scaled before it goes through there, so it goes through a scaler, it's a scaler. Then it goes onto S-video to UDP connection, but what they actually do is they don't do it through it like that. They actually go from S-video to a VGA and they split out the signal pairs on that, and they go in through a VGA cable into a VGA to UDP transceiver. Then they go over to the control room where it comes back in over the UDP, and then they were coming back through the patch cable in the S-video, going through a matrix again, and coming out through the matrix, and then giving us a feed from the matrix over again a transceiver across from one edge of the room to the other edge of the room, which is like 10 feet, and then breaking out from the transceiver to composite signal and giving us that feed. And then it'd be like, well, that wasn't my design. That was, again, this is the biggest thing I'm telling you that are building a new building. Try to get the same company to do the AV design and install, because our facilities department insisted that we have a separate AV design person. And every time there was a problem, do you know what they did? It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Everything was, it's the other guy's fault. It's the other guy's fault. It's the other guy's fault. Years literally spent wasting 20 fingers. Have the company do the same thing.
Couple of questions. With the annotations, the file can be going, or the URLs or whatever it is, can go back and forth between professor to student. They can comment the annotation, go back and forth.
Yeah. They can work on it collaboratively, and since it's automatically updated, they can see the comments in real time.
That's great. And they can both be on at the same time?
And they can both be on at the same time.
That's great. And can it all be burned to something?
Sure. What we could do is there's been no demand for this, but it would be trivial to take the annotations that are time-stamped and then use like one of the MPEG, you could take the video, encode it to DVD, and there's all like, we're mostly a link shop, but there is some DVD author. You can do like sub-captions in DVD author. So we could actually build that, and you could actually have a DVD. In fact, when we first did this whole solution, one of the features that I wrote was a CAMS DVD burn module. And so you could actually, it's not on that user interface page, but in the database, there's actually a flip. It's just a flip, yes or no, to burn the DVD. And then there was a separate module that we bought a machine, we put multiple DVD drives in it. And the idea being that it would automatically, if someone made a request, we could burn automatically a DVD at the end of the recording session and pop it out that way. And we just didn't do it. And we have a few requests for it, and we just tell them no, that's not super feature. And then for the ones that are important, we do it manually. It doesn't take, it takes no time at all to run the DVD. So. Any other questions?
Just a compliment. Wonderful.
No? Thank you.
When you did the CAMS stuff, it was like, I could use that in 10 rooms. And now you're doing the study room stuff. It's about, I could use that in 27. But, it's...
Yeah, and I think it's affordable. I think it's an affordable solution.
But how do you work it, like, for somebody like me, and I'm the only guy that's on staff doing it?
Well, there's a lot of people that are doing similar types of things. University of Washington, University of Maryland. This isn't the only way to do this. It really isn't. There's 10 million ways to do it.
Well, that's a related question. You don't have any Crestrons or any little LCD panels in any of your classrooms, right? Do you? Up front?
Yeah.
You do? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the new rooms all have Crestrons, have 15-inch Crestrons. The old rooms all have the old black and white Crestron controller right here.
So are you going to put? Do you have video controls
on the Crestrons?
So are you anticipating putting like the ability to like pause the camera or something?
Yeah, what we could do is on the new Crestron systems, you can do like web applets from Parently. So we could actually have like specific touch buttons in each of those rooms to let you interact with our system, to pause or fast forward.
But no demand.
No demand. That's what it is. What we do have in our system is there's a way for us to crop, start, and end a video. So we don't have to do any video editing or anything. We mask it. We use the simple media internet markup type of thing, and then you can do like a clip start, clip end parameter.
Yeah.
And so in our file, we can say start this clip at 300 seconds in case there's like 5 minutes of just people talking. You want to just get to the speaker. And so we use that a lot to trim and edit without having to pull into like Adobe or anything like that to do any editing.
Right.
So, but no demand for a pause button actually. The only demand we've had is, I can't just cut the last 5 minutes off. You just go in, type, and 300 seconds early. The video doesn't matter.
So I heard a rumor that you're writing a CAMS for Dummies book. I'm just wondering if it's going to be out.
Well, other people have asked for it, and I published the source code for a little while. I pulled it. I was not happy with my AV sync of my MPEG-4 streams. I am now happy with the MPEG-4 AV sync. So really, it's just time to do it. But I will say this: we've recorded. To give you an example, if we go back over to here, these IDs are our unique strings. So you'll see right there that we've recorded 7,212 videos since we've implemented our system. I think it's a lot. Now granted, there's test videos in there, there's test this, there's test that. But knock on wood, the system works. It works really well. And my staff will test that because really, this system, you know who loves this system the best? Is Ray. And you know why? Because it was Ray's job to drag a video camera around before this system came. So he loves this.
Do you retain all these videos forever? You have a schedule by which you...
Right, well, I said the courses, anything that's course related is zapped at the end of the semester. Only because we only had 2 terabytes of disk space. We had to be, and something about our library, digital repository, they like to capture like everything off the web as just disk space, disk space, disk space. So we bought this new 18 terabyte to start, and we got expanded drive data, and so we'll do that. But speakers, videos of clinic interviews, and everything else we keep.
Sorry.
Did you ever run into copyright issues? You have a guest speaker and they're
Yes.
you've got something set up? And
Yep, I got that right here. I can show you. Let me go back. Right here. This paragraph. Right here. Says, if you are requesting a video recording of a non-Rutgers affiliated person, you must have them complete this form and have it returned to Associate Dean Angela Baker's mailbox. Student Affairs Office is linked to a form. We have a standard disclaimer. What's really nice is every time a video is recorded, we see it. Ray's job is to review every video that comes in. He reviews the video. If it's an outside speaker, we pull it until the form is received. We've thought about that. Crossed our T's, done it our I's.
You said that high def camera has 5.
I think the one I bought has 2 streams. I know one of them has 4 streams.
But even 2 at the high def, like, do you think if you have
No,
5 or
they're
6
not. No. You can configure each stream individually. So you can say stream 1 is 1920 by 1080. Stream 2 is 640 by 480.
Yeah, but assuming that if you go to the maxing 3 or 4 cameras running at the same time, do you see any bandwidth problem? Or?
Yes, I do. We have a lot of cameras. Guess what happens when they're all recorded? What the hell happened? So what we're doing is we've got money. We're either going to Ether channel, our gigabit core in the building, bring it up to 2 gigabit, or we're going to create a separate network for just our video trim. Because yes, if you're recording all this stuff, it just goes to hell in a handbasket real fast. Anyone else? Well, thank you very much for coming. I hope the storm is gone.
Where are all these recordings available for us to look at?
They're available now. They're all posted tech links. So yes, I'm emailing the tech links. They need to go out. Hello.
Right.
Yes. All right.
It's kind of Because you're only going to get this
On the camera, I mean, I can show you.
Yeah, they would get better here.
What we do is, there is, on all of the axes, not all the axes, a lot of them, there's a pin block, and it's over cable you can plug into. Those relays are configurable, so that you can, there's APIs that you can make to the camera and say, is that closed? All I've done is put the button up, the button closes that. I have a David running a server process I wrote that says, once it's closed,
That's awesome. Because I think they
okay. Okay. I'm in the middle of wrapping up the talk. That's okay. I'll be there shortly. Thank you for
Yeah, you're right.
That's your
Maybe it doesn't have to go to that. Unless they look at
And we haven't decided we've been doing it for like 6 years.
Yeah, that's right.
There's more,
There's an otter.
There's more to it than I said.
How are you?
I just went to Seattle. It's great.
Oh, yeah. Were you there when our mission was born?
In Seattle? Or? Oh, yeah. For a long time.
Then I have to see
Well, this is pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, I've heard him talk about it before, but in Seattle, the annotation.
Let me see, what would I do if that was to present itself? I'd like to get these skills up and manually.
Just have to.
Not that that's
Instead of displaying it, you have to. It isn't as elegant as UI.
I just hear it never happened. We just didn't shoot that. He's watching to make sure that the camera hasn't been turned. Since you're not PPC cameras, even PPC cameras, you physically move so that even if you have a preset, this is recording the wrong spot. So his goal primarily is to make sure that the camera still is being correct, and that the audio is working. But what we do is we have that way of stopping, starting at the ends. And so what we found is that was sufficient for all of our requests. We never have a request to take all the time. We have a request back in the day, landing class 385 and 40 as well. And I don't know how that's why this like that's the answer. It's always been in that side. But it was in the middle. We just decided to way.
I haven't used the annotation as YouTube.
But we generally tell people, sorry, we can't.
You know,
Because a lot of people say, oh, I feel one person
I
that's
guess it's not that
hair.
he's doing it. In terms
We
of
can
having
do
a
waste
store,
order.
it's sort of, you know, don't get on to it. Oh, yeah, I just more hours than
There's a, basically, I just
play with some of these things.
use FMMPEG. It's a file format conversion with like these are MPEG 2 cameras, so we serve up an MP4. So it does a conversion of MP4, sets the bit rate, everything else. And then we use one server for the actual physical, for the actual streaming of the MP4s. So,
How does it get out of the classroom to those servers?
these are network cameras. This building. On the other side, what I was
Like
describing was the
your
analog
study
camera.
room, like
Network camera.
okay, so then it's
Has an IP address, and there's a URL of the camera that you hit and pull the stream.
okay.
So, and we're going to move all that,
And then you're just
grabbing all that, dumping it, transcoding it with FMMPEG.
Yeah, for the granular dot.
Was it sitting out on that
The other
page
one
then?
is the whole
On this page,
The intermediate page, like the cameras.
the wiring that you'd have to get. I guess they do around the
MPEG 2, motion tracker.
But still, if you're in Cat 5 years,
So we use, on these cameras, use MPEG 2.
a hole in the wall.
On the access to 11s in the study rooms, they push out the UC wall audio and MPEG 4 video. The newer access cameras have AAC or MPEG.
Yeah, the
Those
flag,
cameras don't.
I guess it must be transmitting on a regular basis to the server. I think it's transmitting the video to the server all the time. It sends a signal saying,
or AAC.
record, start recording.
So there must be some kind of streamers, then we hit it. But we don't do it ourselves, the server does.
Yeah.
It's in the camera, it codes in the camera.
And then on the analog cameras that are part of the new
Sends it out over the
are also
cat
sent back
flag
to
along with some
cameras.
companion symbol
And
session.
capture recordings. But the pathway is
To the server, let's say.
So the thing we're going to end up doing is actually adding network cameras.
To start rating the hard drive.
And really, the infrastructure, it's a shame because you don't have the money.
I don't know.
Everybody's saying that's really cool.
Yeah.
We'll probably never use it. Really, I mean, like this room here has the technology that really everybody.
It's got to be just some, it's running on Darwin.
And the document cameras are.
I think so. I think server with some Darwin type stuff for the,
We have
so it's just
probably trying to say, hey, this is
on this port, when you get this.
I really want to.
And it must have some,
cameras
actually, it's got a database that
from the
they're
main
facing
system
as
so
well.
that the
To know
professor
that
basically can't pull
it's
them.
Rich McHugh
It
is
will
on
be
that
completely separate from
They're fire
their
email
feature.
after
A question for you about the recording. If you
Yeah.
have co-op classes, how do you handle with two professors?
Oh, I bet it's my sequel. It doesn't really matter. They're all fundamentally the same.
Right. Our whole system is whoever's listed first is the owner.
So only the first professor.
Whoever's listed first is the owner, the other person is the tutor.
Oh, yeah.
For any purposes, for grading purposes, because we have our own grade system. So for grading, for setting custom eval questions.
Because I'm sure they were recording a
Second
large
person,
number of
anyone,
classes.
second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, they'll count. They can be added to the course and access the course and view the videos and add materials and everything else, but the management of the course is restricted
Very
to
rarely do
the
you
primary.
do a lot of audio recording.
And it actually works out really well.
With little handheld.
Because we've had people in the past, two professors, that teach,
They bring the
tag team teach the
profit,
course,
pick it up,
they don't
take
teach
the
it together
class,
on the same
sit
day,
down,
and they have totally different viewpoints
Record,
on how they put it set up.
I had one recently where they put on the first 8 weeks and the next 8 weeks, whatever it worked out to, and then.
I mean, we can hand over control. We can say, well, by default, it's whoever's first.
Yeah, I think hopefully make a maintenance.
And
Are you gonna have-
up in the study room, the new one that had the relay on it.
Yeah, the reception downstairs, I got a
That
phone
communication
call.
is on the camera or just it's a signal out?
It's just, there's an API call to the camera saying, is this open or closed?
The 750.
And all we do is when we see that it's open, we are closed, we insert a command into our database to do a recording.
Live wires to camera and the computer calls to camera.
Okay, yeah, it's just pretty much constantly pinging.
Yes, it's waiting, it opens up a persistent HTTP connection. And leaves that open and just every few seconds queries and says, am I being asked to record?
Yeah.
And then it just starts recording.
See, in our.
Is your contact info either on the website
Do we
or
want to do that?
card?
I do have a card, it's in my office.
We had an analog, all the cameras.
And or, you know, I don't just,
Do the full audience.
Added a few.
that's easy, visual for that.
Next one.
You're making us sad,
Why is that?
because we don't have it figured out.
You don't have it figured out yet?
Well, this is what we've done. We've got two 1755s, it takes 1080p cams, and we just got one 720p.
Okay.
So we've got the 755 working, and it has an audio server built into it. And that works. The tricky part is the back end and the deployment of it, because we don't have enough development staff.
Right, well, Access actually sells recording solutions. You know, I don't think it's that much money that you can actually buy the schedule. Access, yeah, it's based mainly here towards that. But there was a guy who was just here that was telling me he's using like Integrity, who has some probably the same type of thing, a security recording file.
Well, it's funny because a lot of the SAM or NES boxes you can get like Robo or QNAP, a lot of those have surveillance systems built into them, so that's like a storage/surveillance algorithm. But the tricky part is us authenticating content.
Well, what we've done is, as you saw, it's all, and if you read the technical exposure, we use obscure URLs. Currently, the reason why is because we wanted to be able to have faculty members share this with outsiders, or if we have, like, if you go into our career planning, they have all of these videos posted for anybody to view, graduates and what have you.
And you've not had any issues with that?
The only thing that's new that we've been hiding a lot is the annotation URLs. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets with the, now that they're being publicly posted to faculty, there's probably some spammers that are lurking.
So are you using like MySQL? What are you using for your database?
Not MySQL.
MySQL. And then you've got, what did you say, your
The streaming part is Darwin, but it really is, you can really put any, like I said in the very beginning, Flash, Windows, they're all controllable by JavaScript.
We set up the Flash server. We're actually, our server guys set up Windows Media Server right now to play with.
We know by embedding the code into a page, we're going to obfuscate the source string. Unless they do a new source, and it's just going to show them the Flash code. That's what we want to do, but we want to hide it behind a portal so that class materials still has to be.
Right, but which is what, I don't know if you saw that, like, when I was in there, you can go in, if you're in the course, you can see all the URLs for different things. And we thought about obscuring it, making it harder, ours is hidden multiple, because the first thing that you get is the SMEAL file, which shows you the little Rutgers logo. I don't know if you saw it when we started playing a video. Like, we have a little background that has the Rutgers logo, the name of the thing, the date and time, and then that stays up for 5 seconds, and that goes away, and then you see the video come up underneath. And so we dynamically generate the SMEAL, we reference that, and then in the SMEAL, it's obscured again, the URL, but anyone can find it. I mean, though we don't go to lengths that like some of the websites do, with using JavaScript to obscure the URLs too, which probably would be the next step that we do. So we'll have like a unique URL that we can change at will to point to the video, which will then have, obscure JavaScript to actually point to the URLs. But if somebody's wants it, they're going to find it.
Yeah, we just want to make it difficult. We want to make it so that it's just
right. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not a huge fan of DRM, but it would be nice to be able to offer that to faculty members. But then you can tell them the same thing. Just because we're offering it doesn't mean someone's not going to crack it.
Yeah. So how many microphones do you have set up in each room? Just one?
Is it the one in the camera? Or?
In this room, it's the one we got.
And it works okay?
Yeah.
You have
This is
people
not recording.
in the
In the larger rooms, we have, if you were to go to 207, or whatever, well, the only other your sessions is 207. If you look at that, the camera's further back, and right sticking out of the ceiling, up close, is a little black microphone.
Does that pick up the audience?
But primarily it picks up. How are we doing? How's that Beacon 112? Did you go back over there?
I didn't. I guess I should. Probably even worse.
No, I don't think there's nothing we can do about it. I think the rains caused the river to flood into the D112. That's why it was leaking.
Do you have any questions or?
He's with us.
Okay.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh, thank you. I hope you're having fun at the conference.
Absolutely.
It's everything that you hope it would be.
What's the best door to go back where we're eating? Back to what's
Do that for the projector.